What is going on, you guys? Today I have another quick video review for you. This one is from Noel Dazel, and the title is 8 Tips for Young Men from a guy who had to figure it out alone. So let's get into it.
My parents got separated at a young age. And from a very young age, I didn't have a father figure present in the household. I had to rely on a single mother. And there was a lot of challenges and lessons that I had to learn on my own. Now, if you're familiar with my content, you'll know that I come across as very soft and supportive on a lot of subjects. But you're going to see a very stern side of me in this video, because this is something that I speak so passionately about. My intentions here are only good and they come from the heart, because these are values that I really wish that you instill and you interpret and you listen to with intent, because they're going to help you so much in life as they did for me. So, without any further ado, let's get into them. Please start something. A lot of younger guys feel that they lack purpose and accomplishment because they have failure to launch, if we can call it that. We wait for the perfect time, or we wait for the perfect opportunity, or we wait for permission to do something, to take action on our lives and actually accomplish things. Now, a lot of people, similar to when I was young, sometimes we speak ourselves out of opportunity. Like, I had ideas which I didn't take action because I spoke myself out of certain opportunities. And on other occasions, we simply just don't know what to do. My advice is always follow and take action on something that you're passionate about. And even if you don't know the next steps, it's okay, because taking that action is more likely to lead to the next step and to lead to a result than without taking action at all. You don't need to start a company. You don't need to have radical change. Start messy, but just start. No one is coming to save you. And I know that might seem a bit harsh, and it's very unpleasant for a lot of us to hear that. But as we grow older and as we become adults, the only person that we have to fall back on is ourselves. Up until a certain age and up until a certain point, our parents are going to be there to support us. But as we grow older, we have to rely on and we have to count on ourselves in order to save ourselves. I got to a point in my life where I was desperate for assistance. I was begging for assistance. I couldn't rely on my mother. She didn't have the financial means. And it was a massive turning point for me, because I realized the only person that I had that could get me through the situation was myself. And through that process, I struggled a lot. It was incredibly difficult. But I knew I couldn't have a victim mindset, because if I stayed the victim and if I played the victim, I would never be able to achieve anything. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to do everything on your own. This doesn't mean that there aren't people that you can rely on. But in order to take that first step, get yourself off the ground and launch and take action, you have to do it for yourself and you have to be dependent on yourself. So please, you are the hero of your own story and you got to act like it. Master the basics. Don't be sloppy. Keep yourself well kept, keep yourself well groomed, because people will take you a lot more seriously. But as you work in your way up the ranks, and as you want to be taken serious, and as you want to be treated seriously, it's very important that we uphold a very good, positive self-image of ourselves. And you don't have to be rich. You don't have to wear the best branded clothes and use the best branded fragrances. But simply keep yourself well kept, keep yourself well groomed, have a good skincare routine, brush your hair, use a nice fragrance, because these actions, especially in the business world, a clean exterior represents a clean interior. And a lot of people judge us, they judge our work ethic based on our outside appearance. Now, as much as I wish that were not the case, this is the world that we live in. And this does apply to the vast majority of businesses, corporates, professionals out there. And it's very important that we give off a good presence and carry a good image. Mastering the basics shouldn't cost much, but the payoff is just so worth it. So please.
So one really big point that he made up earlier, and everything's been good so far, is making sure that you start to take action instead of waiting for the right time. You can just start, and oftentimes we know exactly what we need to do. We just keep procrastinating and putting it off. So just start, even if it's messy. Just start, and keep an eye out for a mentor who has the life that you want, the results that you want. If you need to get more than one mentor, so you get the results in the different areas, do that. But get the mentor who has the life and results you want and is happy. That's a key thing. Because, like, if, for example, you're in a company, like climbing the corporate ladder, and you see someone ahead of you by 5, 10, 20 years, whatever, do you want their life? Think about these things. So please take action. Stop thinking about it. Stop, listening to tons of podcasts, reading over and over the same stuff. Again, even like tons of self improvement videos. At a certain point, you got to bring that down and get out of the consuming phase and start producing, creating, taking action.
Please don't overlook the basics. Please learn to take criticism without falling apart. If you have the inability to listen to critique and to interpret and listen to that critique, you're not going to be in a position where you can improve yourself. A lot of people take it as a personal attack when they're given criticism or critique. The most successful persons that I know welcome criticism. They ask for criticism. They ask for input, and they ask on how they can improve something, especially when being approached or surrounded by people that know more and have more experience in what they have at something. Because if you have the inability to do that, if you're simply just not receptive to that input and to that criticism, you're just not going to be able to level up. We become so entrapped within a certain space and within our own mind because we have an inability to expand outside of that ultimately.
And don't take it personally. You need to detach from that. Because here's the thing, like, think about that idea. Someone can really teach you how to live the life that you want, and you're allowing your emotions and your ego to be like defensive and like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Blah, blah, blah. Listen. It's similar to like meditation, right? Like not attaching to the thought. Don't attach your thoughts and your emotions to that. Just listen and take what helps you. Implement. Imagine not being coachable. There's basically no point in you having a mentor and learning from someone at that point. You could try to do it on your own, obviously. It will take a lot longer. Or you can learn from someone who has the results that you want. And even on top of that, having the right circle of friends and people that are also leveling up rather than people who pull you down. So don't let your ego get in the way.
We just become stagnant. One of the most important pieces is your friend group can either make you or break you. And especially for my younger audiences, I need to just profess the importance of this particular point because you are the company that you keep. If you have 5 lazy friends, you'll be the 6th. If you have friends that don't support you, push you, motivate you, drive you, you're just not going to get to where you want to be in life. There was a time in my life when I experienced this. Not one occasion, but probably a few occasions. And I was on this trajectory for personal self-development, self-improvement. I wanted to grow my finances. I wanted to work on my physique. And all my friend group wanted to do was go out, party, drink alcohol, get drunk. And I was ridiculed by my friends for wanting to go to the gym and work on myself. I then realized the need to surround myself with more positive influences. I went from a very large group of friends to a very small group of friends, but it was a very small group of friends, of like-minded friends. And we had the same interests, and we had the same passions, and we had the same drive. And truly, that is when I started to flourish. So what I would like you to do, audit your friends. Sometimes we have to cut ties with friends. It doesn't make us evil, ugly, or a bad person. We just have to evaluate the value that we get from our friends. It's the same as being in a relationship. It's either a positive relationship that uplifts you, or you're in a toxic relationship that pulls you down. Don't let a breakup define you. I've seen this so many times where persons or couples break up and the person being broken up with just completely loses themselves in the process. They question their worth, they question their integrity, they question their actions, they question everything. Sometimes they're just holding on to so much anger and hatred and confusion that they end up altering their personalities and they end up becoming someone who they aren't and who the person that they were with didn't fall in love with in the first place. Don't question and overthink the breakup too much for yourself, especially if you're the one that's being broken up with, especially if you're the one that's being cheated on. I know a lot of this can come as a surprise, and this will often take a major knock in our confidence because you're left feeling not good enough. Don't alter yourself in the process. If you've done everything in your power to be a good partner, To bear a good relationship, don't change what good values and good qualities you have because of those values that were overlooked by someone else are the values that are going to bring so much joy to the next person that you meet in your life. So please, let the breakup grow you and not define you. Confidence is not arrogance. Please, you need to know the difference. Confidence, in retrospect, is the person in the room that is silent and observant. They're taking in their surroundings. They're interpreting what people are saying. And then they speak confidently on a situation, or they speak confidently to a person once they've thoroughly established the environment. It's not about being the loudest person. It's not about how much money you make. It's not about how much money you spend. It's not about how many girls you've been with. That is not confidence. That is arrogance. That is egotistical. That is insecurity that is wearing a mask. So let's establish what the difference is here between arrogance and confidence. And what I want you to be is more confident. Have confidence in your appearance, have confidence in your abilities, because that is going to impress people a lot more than the flashy things. So please, don't confuse arrogance with strength, and don't confuse power with loudness. Stay grounded, stay humble, and let your presence speak for itself. Learn how to say no. One of the greatest forms of self-respect is the ability to say no. And I know this is hard. This is something that I particularly struggled with. And often I was taken advantage of because I was the nice guy. I didn't want to disappoint people and I didn't want to say no. So that very simple word, those two very simple letters, no, are so empowering when used appropriately. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to hand over and relinquish your power to someone else when you do something against your will, because you have the inability to stand up for yourself and you know where to draw the line when it comes to your own moral compass and able to say no to someone. So please, learn how to say no from your chest and leave it at that.
Obviously, really great video. Go check out Noel Dazel. Learn how to say no and stop being a people pleaser. I think that's a really good point. And then also, something he said at the very beginning of the video stuck with me, is basically learning to take action instead of yapping. Quit telling people what you're going to do and just do it. Because he was just talking about how people see you, right? And if you do what you say you're going to do, if you didn't just talk about it, you did it, you accomplished it, your actions speak so much louder, and your accomplishments, your results, speak much louder than you just yapping and telling everybody. By the way, if you tell everybody about your plans and you don't do it, obviously they'll have less confidence in you. You'll have less confidence in you. And you might be less likely to even do the activity anyways, because you let out the dopamine, the feel-good chemicals, by telling them. And then when you don't do it, people are going to be like, oh, what happened? And so are you. That's how you build confidence, is showing yourself that you show up for yourself and you can do what you say you're going to do. Going to the gym, working on your finances, building that business, whatever it is. Leveling up your social life. Do it. It's like the Shia LaBeouf thing, to do it. Take action. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Subscribe over here. I want to help more guys live a life by design and be confident while you do it. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.